G'day, this is Gary007 and welcome to my channel. So today we're going to talk about pet scaling and how it works with hunters in the Burning Crusade Classic. So if you like this sort of content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, leave a like and a comment below. So without further ado, let's dive into this topic. So pets scale from hunters' ability. So pets get about 22% of the hunter's ranged attack power added to their melee attack power. All pets are now normalized to do 2.0 attack speed. There's no ifs or buts about it anymore. There's no variance in that when it comes to pets. They all do the same attack speed, which is really important to take note. All pets have a base damage modifier in which DPS is calculated. So if you took the modifier at 1, right, just say all pets are based off 1. If you slide that scale up to 1.05, 1.07, 1.1, or even decrease it from 1 to 0.9 or 0.7, where Ravagers, cats and raptors sit is at the highest end that you can get, which is 1.1. So their base damage modifier is the highest of all pets. Now we're going to talk about Ravagers more and more in this video as an example, and you'll understand why Ravagers are the best pet to have in TBC. Ravagers are classed as an offensive pet. They've got 3 main abilities that make them really attractive as a pet for a hunter. The first one's dash. Cats get a dash as well, but it's a high mobility movement skill for a pet. You can't underestimate mobility in a game like this. They have bite, which cats have, but instead of claw, which cats have, what Ravagers have is gore. Now gore is an attack that has a 50% chance to inflict double the damage. So right there, you've got a high damage modifier on a pet like a Ravager, and it has gore with it, which increases its attack speed by 50% to inflict double the damage. That's really massive for a hunter straight off the bat. So these are valuable information that you can take when going into TBC and trying to pick the right pet for yourself. When it comes to passive abilities, there's a couple that you really need and are super important, and I'll explain why they are. So one of the first passive abilities you will need to get is Cobra Reflexes, which is learnt by trainers. Basically, Cobra Reflexes, what it does, it increases your pet's attack speed by 30%, but damage done is reduced. So what does that mean, right? So if you take your pet, your stock standard pet, and you haven't learnt any passive abilities, your stock standard attack speed for that pet is 2 seconds. It sits at 2 seconds. If you get Serpents Swiftness, which is a BM talent, it increases your pet's melee attack speed by 20%. Your attack speed for your pet is now 1.67 seconds. So if you apply Cobra Reflexes, which is a 30% bonus to attack speed for your pet, your attack speed will now be 1.28 seconds. So that's pretty massive, right? That's a large reduction from 2 seconds down to 1.28. But here's the kicker. See, BM hunters gain a lot from faster attack speed, which has a chance to apply both Frenzy. Now Frenzy gives your pet an 80% chance to gain a 30% attack speed increase for 8 seconds. Now that's in the tree. Ferocious Inspiration, when your pet scores a critical hit, all party members have all damage increased by 3% for 10 seconds. So this adds up to a DPS increase. You can get your pet down to under 1 second when Frenzy's up. So once you have Cobra Reflexes added and then your pet scores and Frenzy goes up on your pets, then they're doing just under 1 second attack speed per second, which is massive, you know. So basically from this passive ability Cobra Reflexes, when you break it down, you get about a 10 to 15% increase in damage just from this one passive ability. So yes, people will say you need to get it, but that's why you need to get it. Information to keep in the back of your mind when it comes to attack speed. Now the other important passive ability for your pet is Avoidance. Now Avoidance reduces the damage your pet takes from area of effect attacks by 50%. Now that's massive. This skill is a must. However, some boss mechanics, if not most of them, will still deal a lot of damage to your pet. For example, Maiden, if you go into Kara, she does an AoE damage, right? So you still need to keep an eye on your pet and pull your pet out of fights to avoid losing your pet mid-fight. Last thing you want to do is res your pet mid-fight, because every time you res your pet, if you don't have good pet management, you lose 25% less DPS. That's how much DPS you lose if you have to res your pet a couple of times. So remember, when your pet is happy, your pet does 125%. When it's content, it does 100%. And when it's unhappy, it's at 75%. So it's important to let your raid know that your pet will need heals. However, even when you let your raid know that, hey, can you please keep an eye on my pet and heal it up, it's up to you to keep your eye on your pet before sending it in. So before I send a pet in, I will hit the men pet ability to put heals onto my pet, and then set my pet in to start DPSing the boss. So if there's any AoE action that happens, my pet can benefit from heals. So I'm always keeping an eye on the pet, and pet management is still a big thing for a hunter. But avoidance is a massive welcome for a hunter. So the other thing with pets, you can apply small buffs to your pets by buying agility scrolls and strength scrolls. Now you can get them off the auction house. So if you buy a strength scroll plus 20 to strength, that will give your pet about 40 attack power. For every 2 attack power per 1 strength is what you'll get. Agility, so agility scrolls, say plus 20 to agility. You can get them from the auction house. They're like 3 gold each, 4 gold. So just look up agility scrolls, get the plus 20, and it will give you a critical strike chance for your pet. So you can put these scrolls on your pet. So you can buff your pet with strength and agility scrolls. Think of your pet as a mini warrior. Okay, so they're like mini warriors. So they benefit from strength, applying strength scrolls really well. So they scale quite well in that regard. So just a side note, when it comes to paladin buffs, if you got a choice, try to get Blessing of Might put on your pet and yourself as well. The 220 attack power is far better than the Blessing of Kings of only 10%. So if you were to get 10%, say 1500 range attack power, 10% of that is only 150 range attack power from Blessing of Kings. So Blessing of Might is 220, so you get a 70% more range attack power based off Blessing of Might compared to Blessing of Kings, right? So it's far beneficial to get Blessing of Might. So what does that look like in DPS terms? So 220 times 0.35 minus 220 equals 143 DPS increase. So it's about, when it comes down to brass taxes, 21 attack power equals about 1 DPS for yourself. So that's how you could sort of scale what attack power, range attack power looks like. That's based around a 35% armored target. So that's what that 0.35 is taking an estimate and taking in armor considerations when working at your DPS. So this is something you can apply. So let's say your hunter had 1500 range attack power. 1500 times 0.35 minus 1500 equals 975 DPS is about roughly what you would do on your hunter. So when applying these buffs, you'll be applying them to your pet as well. Also remember that 22% of your range attack power is added to the pet's melee attack power. Get your pet buff with might and you get yourself buffed. You put some agility scrolls, some strength scrolls down. You get a huge bonus out of making these small buffs for your pet, and also buffing yourself, and it crosses over the line a little bit to your pet again. So it's very important when it comes to pet abilities. Always put 25 points into Avoidance, 29, Gore 29, Cobra Reflexes is 15, Dash is 25, and of course Growl is for free. So you spend 123 training points for your pet. Now when it comes to spending the rest of those points for your pet, you can, like last night I went into Kara, I put I think 105 into Fire Resist, 105 into Shadow Resist, and I probably put 15 into Nature, because there's a couple of fights for Shadow Resist and Fire Resist. There's a couple of boss fights that I find it quite handy to have those resistances up for my pet. So having high resistances for your pet, and the training costs only cost 10 silver, so it's not not a huge thing. So yeah, that's everything that I have to say about pets and pet talents and stuff like that. It's a little bit more in depth, which I hope you've got something out of this video. That's sort of the idea, that you learn something out of it and you get a deeper understanding of your class. So if you like this sort of content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, leave a like, comment below about your experiences as a hunter, and yeah, alright then, I'll see you out in Outland. Okay then, bye.